Okay, so good afternoon to everyone. As a part of a general area of research, I will going to make a presentation, and for which the topic I have selected is biopunk fiction unfolding the genetics of genre. Right. So, what do I mean by the genetics of genre is I will going to discuss about how this particular genre has emerged, how this particular genre have evolved through time, and what are the major thematic concerns of this particular genre. Right, so major content which I am going to discuss in this presentation is, first we will see when and where the age of biology has begun. Then we are going to understand the meaning of biotechnology. Then we will see various applications of biotechnology within various sectors. Then we will also see the term biopunk, their meaning and other things. Then we will also see that how biopunk is considered as a successor of cyberpunk. Then we will see historical evolution of the biopunk fiction, and then we will try to analyze that how the scientific facts are interconnected with the science fiction. And last we will see the major trends which will going to emerge in the future biopunk fiction, and we will also try to imagine a future of this biopunk genre. Now, what is the age of biology? Right. So before that, also we have seen a certain scientific invention before 1953 as well. But Watson and Crick in 1953 have identified the double helix structure of DNA. So they have tried to identify what is the structure of DNA and how we can use that structure to generate different cells, to generate different parts of a human being, to create different organs of human being. So this age is punctuated by two important milestones. That in 1957 the science have invented that molecular genetics, and our genetics information is passing from DNA to RNA, that is ribonucleic acid, and from RNA to protein, right? So if we wanted to get the basics at how a human being is constructed, what is the structure, right? So for that we can go through directly to DNA. So DNA is containing our all genetic information. And during 1970s we have seen another aspect which is emerging through biology, that is people have tried to connect the biology with technology. So from that we mark the beginning of the biotechnology. So understanding biotechnology. Now the word biotechnology is made up with the two words, that is biology and technology. So it defines that how biology can be used to create different organs of human being. Right? So biotechnology is a technology based on biology. It harnesses cellular and biomolecular processes to develop technologies and products that help to improve our lives and the health of our planet, right? For example, if we identify a kind of a disease in our body, so if we want to remove that disease genetically, right, so it is inherent disease. So for that we can go to the DNA, we can check the faults in our DNA, we can remove that part, and after that that person will become healthy, right? So this way we are using the biotechnology. Before also, like before the invention of biotechnology, we are using the certain microorganisms to create different things. Like we used microorganism to create curd from milk, right? We are fermenting the beds. So these are some of the traditional applications of biotechnology. And related to that, Derek Osborne have rightly pointed out that biotechnology can be seen as a third industrial revolution, which can rectify the faults of the first and second industrial revolution. So first industrial revolution, which is begin with the steam engine, right? And the second industrial revolution, which begins with the technological revolution, which we can see through the IT, information technology. Now, applications of biotechnology in various sectors. So how we can apply biotechnology? So in medicine sectors, for example, we are creating antibiotics, we are creating vaccines, We are also doing a cell therapy, gene therapy. So these are some of the applications in the field of medical and therapeutics. Then what are the applications of biotechnology in environment? So in environment, we are using certain microorganism to clean our air, right? To we are using certain microorganism to clear the pollutants from our air. So this way we can use biotechnology to make our environment more healthy. Then we can also use biotechnology for waste management. Then we can also use biotechnology to create a bioenergy or biofuels which are more clearer than the traditional forms like petrol and diesel. So these are some of the environmental application of the biotechnology. Then within agriculture, we are searching for the how we can modify the structure of the crops, how we can like ignite the production, food production. So in this way we can see the applications of biotechnology within agriculture. Then marine biology, right? So within marine biology, we are using certain marine organisms like algae, then coral reefs to create the drugs out of it. Then we can also see the applications of biotechnology within forensic field, right? So if we are doing a kind of a criminal investigation, so we use their DNA fingerprinting, DNA profiling to identify the criminal behind that particular crime. And industrial application of the biotechnology will be that we can create a biodegradable plastics which will not harm the environment. So in this way we can apply the biotechnology within various sectors. Now coming back to the literature, that how the biotechnology is represented within the literary field, right? So biopunk unfolding the genetic makeup of the term. So this term biopunk, which is not to confuse with biofiction. Biofiction is different thing, biopunk is different thing. So it is made up with two terms, that is biology and cyberpunk, right? So the original origin which is considered of this biopunk genre is that it is emerged from the cyberpunk, but it is different from the cyberpunk, right? Cyberpunk is dealing with the IT, computers, robotics, all that thing, while the biopunk is dealing with the biotechnology, right? So we have created robots which are looking like a human but they are not human, but through biology we can create a same copy of human being as well. So biopunk is a subgenre of science fiction which explore the societal effects of biotechnology and genetic engineering, right? So biopunk is using various themes like uh, uh, genetic engineering, then genetic modification, genetic manipulation. So these are some of the things themes which are used within the literature. Okay, so biopunk as a worthy successor of cyberpunk. So Brian McHale, who has written this post-modernist, constructing postmodernism, which is a book written by Brian McHale, in which he says that the biopunk genre has emerged from the cyberpunk, but within cyberpunk we are using electronic and biochemical means to augment themselves, right? So we are using mechanics and technology to augment the human efficiency, while within biology we are using the cell therapy, genetic engineering, genetic modification to augment the human capacities. Okay, so historical evolution of biopunk fiction. So the word biopunk is first used by Brian McHale in his work that is postmodernist construction, and he has used this term in 1992, and he has used this term with reference to the ontological oriented fictions. Right, so this fiction will question what is world, how a world is constituted, are there any existence of alternative world as well, right? If yes, then how they are constituted, how that alternative worlds are different from the our earth, right? And what happens when these two worlds intersect with one another. So these are some of the questions which are addressed in the biopunk fiction. Then during 1996, Paul Di Filippo has used the ribofunk with reference to the biopunk, and he is marking that the proper study of mankind is life, right? Computer is there, but they are work as merely simulators and modelers for life, but the cell is the king. Through cell we can create a copy of a human being. And the Frankenstein novel, which is published in the 1818 by Mary Shelley, can be considered as the first proto-biopunk fiction, in which the protagonist is collecting different organs from various deceased people, and after that he connect all those organs, and then he put a life in that particular creature through electricity and through chemical process. So in this manner, this can be considered as the first biopunk fiction. Okay, now we will going to see how the biotechnological advancements are intersecting with the within the literary imagination. So first biotechnological advancement that we have seen is the Dolly the sheep, right? The first cloned animal that is done by Keith Campbell and Ian Wilmot, right? So they have used this cloning practice to create a same animal, right? So they have taken one sheep, and they wanted to create the same sheep out of it. So that practice is known as cloning. And before that, Brave New World, which is by this Aldous Huxley, so in which he had also using this same techniques of splitting the embryo. This is published in around, I think, 1932. So it is before that. Dolly the sheep is cloned in during 1996 or at that time, while this Brave New World is published before almost 60 years of that. So what he says in that one egg, one embryo, one adult normality, but the egg will bud, will proliferate, will divide, and from 8 to 96 buds, and every bud will grow into a perfectly formed embryo, and every embryo into a full-sized adult, making a 96 human beings grow. So right, what he is defining in this particular novel is that he have created a different part of a world where he had modified every human being, and he was saying that using a one single cell we can create almost 96 human beings at a time. Okay, then another example is of synthetic biology, right? So the technique of synthetic biology is also used in the Frankenstein. So what is synthetic biology is that using a current existential organ that we have, or the cell that we have, through which we can create a complete different organ, or we can also regenerate similar organ as well. That is synthetic biology. Or we can also create regenerative medicines to cure our different genetic disorders. So, but the application that used in the Frankenstein, in which the Victor Frankenstein is saying that perhaps a corpse would be reanimated. Galvanism had given a token of such things. Perhaps the component parts of a creature might be manufactured, brought together, and ended with vital warmth. So he had created a creature, right, which we generally known as a monster, right? So he had created this monster with the use of synthetic biology. Then bioterrorism and bioethics. So with the emergence of biotechnology, we are also witnessing certain negative implications of that biotechnology, that, right? So it can be used as to spread a bioterrorism. We can also use it to make a kind of a bio weapon which can clear the entire society, right? So the literary imagination within this biotechnology also giving us a kinds of lessons, that just because we can do something, that doesn't mean it should be done, right? We have to focus on the ethics and morality of that part. So Victor Frankenstein himself is saying that learn from me, if not by my percept, at least by my example, how dangerous is the acquirement of a knowledge, and how much happier that man is who believes his native town to be the world than he who aspires to become a greater than his nature will allow. So he is marking some of the negative implications, that if we will try to question the god, if we will try to become a god, or if we will try to go against the nature, then there are certain negative implications as well. So we have to focus on that as well. Okay, then there is one of the prominent theme which is used in the biopunk fiction is they are creating a genetically modified organisms, they are creating a genetically modified crops which are resistant to extreme climate issues. Then they are creating genetically modified animals and human beings as well. So like we have seen one article in news that during 2017 there is one scientific research which came out in which scientists have created a part human part pig embryo, and it when it becomes mature, after that you can use that pig to take certain organs of that pig which can be used for humans as well, right? So if there is a organ failing in human, then that organ can be used to transplant that particular organs in human. So the same applications we are witnessing in the Oryx and Crake, which is by Margaret Atwood. So they are doing this Pigun project, and in which they are doing this Pigun project to make a commercialization of the organ transplantation. They are generating kinds of organs through pigs, and they are sell in the market to generate income out of it. Then we also see the genetically modified animals, that is megalodons. It is in The Wind Up Girl by Paul Bacigalupi. Then we also find one genetically modified human being, a slave girl, which is created. Her name is Emiko. And certain genetically modified animals like piguns, raccoons, and crackers. Yes, crackers is again a genetically modified human beings, which are represented in the Oryx and Crake. Okay, so what are the major trends which are we can witnessing right now in the biopunk fiction? That is, one is genetic and accident, and the second is planned genetic alteration. Right, so genetic accident. If we want to take an example, then the butterfly effect. So in that particular novel, they are experimenting with the breed of rice, but that experiment is still not finalized, and some person that leak that sample of rice and then spread that sample into the society. So what happens is that they grow a kind of a rice, and whoever eat that rice are becoming aging early. So this can be a genetic accident, right? So they haven't planned this thing, they wanted to do it for the good of the society, but that sample somehow got leaked, and because of that there is happening certain genetic accident. And planned genetic alteration also we are able to find in the novel Oryx and Crake, in which our protagonist Crake have planned or have imagined to create a complete different human society, which will be known as the Cracker. So it is his plan to create a genetically modified animals which have certain personality traits, like they will not feel any kind of despair or jealousy anytime, right? So they again he also think about that if we wanted to reduce the population, so that kinds of genetic traits are included in that DNA of that particular crackers. So they will reproduce every 3 years, right? So that kinds of personality traits are introduced. Okay, now imagining the future of biopunk genre, then how it will appear in future, right? This is only the infant stage. We are finding a kinds of a biopunk fiction after 1980s or 1990s. So it is almost around 3 or 4 decades since we are witnessing these kinds of literature. So what Margaret Atwood has said, that we have just opened the great big gene placing toy box, and people are going to be play with that for years, right? So biotechnology is an emerging theme within the literature, and people will going to write more about this in future as well. We can also witness certain things, like we can envision that how bioengineered solutions can be used to combat the problem biotechnological augmentation and human evolution. Then we can also see that how biohacking cultures, then genetic manipulation are working within the field of science. Then we can also see a commercialization of biotechnology and emergence of biocapitalism. Regaldo has rightly pointed out that we are moving from reading the genetic code to writing it, right? So what he had said is in a reference to science. that finally we have identified that that is our DNA through which we can create an entire human being, and now we will going to experiment with it. But if we wanted to see the same statement with reference to literature, then we have found out one new theme on which we can produce a numbers of literary fictions as well. We can also see how the biohazards or bioweapons and pandemics can be spread using these kinds of biotechnological advancement. We can also see a fusion of biology and technology to create a cyborgs or to create a kind of an entire new human being. We can also see that how this biotechnology will going to create a global disparity. And we can also see the cultural and ethical implications of this biotechnology in the biopunk fiction. Okay, so this is it for the presentation. These are some of the references. If you have any questions, then you can ask.
Yes, questions of the panel?
What are the positive and negative aspects of reading biopunk fiction?
Okay, so when we read the biopunk fiction, right? So it is we have to see what kind of narration it is doing. Whether it is doing it in a positive manner, like that biotechnology can be used in a positive manner, or whether it is doing in a negative manner. So we can see through reading the biopunk fiction that what are the measured consequences that we are going to witness in the future, and what are the possible future opportunities that we have, which we can experience or imagine through this biopunk fiction as well.
Okay, next one.
My question is, how does biotechnology influence modern science fiction literature?
Okay, so biotechnology, like earlier science fiction, which had roots very early, right? And throughout the time, it has evolved, and there are different genres which have emerged within the science fiction as well. Like we have a cyberpunk, then we have a diesel punk, then we have a solar punk. So in that manner, this we have opened up a completely new genre to literature, which will going to represent a current scenario of our society, right? So in this manner, it will going to bring a kind of a revolution within the field of scientific fiction.
Asha, thank you very much. Now